Alrighty. Time to put away the witch hat. I said, time to put away the witch hat. Look, spooky month is over. It's time to get ready for... turkey? Well, maybe just one more. This is 1957's Night of the Demon. Beauty shots of Stonehenge greet us. Wow, what a chill place. But what a spooky font. Elsewhere, Professor Harrington, who is a late-night lead-footed driver, pulls up to Lufford House and meets with the very Fraser Crane-looking Julian Carswell. Their discussion is not tossed salad and scrambled eggs, rather it's revenge.
You involved me in a public scandal. I protested. You said, do your worst.
Followed up by a what-the-fuck level clock. Honestly, what is going on with that thing? Anyway, Carswell reassures Harrington,
I'll do all that I can.
Which in this case means precisely dick. Harrington gets home safely, but fails to close the garage door as creepy night noises begin. A giant demon on a unicycle gives Harrington an electrifying end. Too bad the professor is dead, or he might have commented, oh, what big feet/teeth/hands the demon has. Carswell has effectively killed the newspaper expose, but I do have to wonder if sending a demon to kibosh a story is slightly overkill. Elsewhere, a different paper reveals John Holden and his fellow air traveler Joanna Harrington, the niece of the currently charbroiled Professor Harrington. These two annoy the hell out of each other, which clearly means they're a match made in heaven. I'd also like to point out that this whole scene kinda destroys the notion that 50s air travel was fun and luxurious. I'll never trust vintage advertising ever again. Upon landing, Holden is flocked by reporters and leaves them with a total banger statement.
We English are sort of fond of them.
Sure, some of my best friends are ghosts.
Holden learns of Harrington's strange demise, and despite points to the contrary, he doesn't feel it was paranormal because...
Demonology and witchcraft have been discredited since the Middle Ages, O'Brien. I wrote a book about it, that's why I'm here.
Carswell drops a call and...
Speak of the devil.
Well, Holden, it's quite funny you mention that. There's some banter/veiled threats that the British tend to be very good at, and later we're treated to a demon book DoorDash service that I think needs to become a thing. Carswell and Holden have a meet cute at the British Museum, and after being shushed, I'm pretty sure someone's gonna have a demonic visitor. Holden is left with a foreboding business card, which leaves him feeling like...
big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
He and Joanna have a meet cute at her uncle's funeral, and she later comments,
Golden night, isn't it?
No, it's hot. Quite hot.
which I assume qualifies as mid-century flirting. Out at Carswell's place, he gives out puppies to all the kids. And I thought giving out full-size candy bars at Halloween was generous. He goes on to shoot down what could be the next great party trend,
I don't think it'll be too amusing for the youngsters if I conjured up a demon from hell for them.
and is good enough to tell Holden when he's gonna die.
You will die, as I said, at 10 o'clock on the 28th of this month.
Which is super polite. Holden gets his first taste of the impending demon sound in a dark, scary hallway, and his planner has all the pages torn out after the date of his supposed demise. Things ain't looking good. Our adorable couple have a not-so-romantic candlelit dinner, and a pickup line so desperate,
You wouldn't deny a dying man a last request, would you?
this ruined parchment tries to off itself in the fire. Later, Mrs. Carswell attempts to save Holden through a seance. Everyone is instructed to begin singing to the spirits.
Cherry ripe, ripe, I cry.
And if Mr. Meek's reaction is anything to go by, the spirits are definitely not enjoying it. After getting passed around through the Afterlife customer service phone system, they finally get a hold of Joanna's uncle, just to be told,
The demon! It's coming!
Holden hits us with a weird saying, considering he doesn't believe in the supernatural.
It would be easier to stop Carswell's demon than a woman who has her mind made up.
And then sneaks onto the Carswell property, where he runs into a fancy foyer, a giant hand, and a cat who changes into a leopard. He's found out and leaves the way he came because...
I have one superstition. I like to go back the way I came.
the impending sounds and smoke of the demon chase him, and honestly, it's a pretty cool effect. We then come to the hypnotism as a deus ex machina part of the movie. The experts hypnotize a man who was driven into a catatonic state by a terrible demonic fright. He has a Pulp Fiction level chemical experience with a really notable scream. The patient describes his experience, which makes Holden rethink his stance. In a frantic retelling, he learns the parchment has to be passed back to Carswell to stop his own death. It all becomes too much, and the patient makes a dramatic exit, with the death being emotionally defined as
Really terrible.
and he manages to catch up with Carswell on a train. He finds Joanna has been kidnapped and hypnotized to keep him at bay. The two have some playful back and forth, which leads to Carswell giving up smoking as Holden offers both a smoke and a light. This could either be considered really nice or bloody rude. Carswell realizes he can't win and gets up to leave, only to realize that cheeky bastard put the parchment in his coat pocket. It goes flying away and Carswell catches it just in time for it to go up in flames. Cue the big goofy looking demon on a unicycle, and we have a happy ending. 1957's Night of the Demon, or Curse of the Demon as it's also known, was directed by Jacques Tourneur, who also helmed notable horror classics, Cat People, and I Walked with a Zombie. It's so iconic it graced the opening theme of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Dana Andrews said prunes, gave him the rooms.
Martin Scorsese also lists it as one of his favorite horror movies. Over the following 25 years, the source novel, Casting the Runes, was also adapted into a radio play and twice for British television. In more recent times, Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell was meant to be a remake, but he couldn't secure the rights, so many plot elements were used, but the overall story had to be reworked. The monster reveal, both at the beginning and the end, were originally left out until the studio came along and decided it had to be shown. The reasoning was to leave no shadow of a doubt that this was a demon at work and not some abstract force or psychological illusion. Tourneur was said to be against it, and the scenes were shot without his consent. Stop-motion master Ray Harryhausen was requested to create the demon, but he was already working on the seventh voyage of Sinbad. Upon its US release, the title was changed from Night of the Demon to Curse of the Demon, and it was cut from 96 minutes down to 82. The omitted scenes included a subplot involving more background info on a witness to the demon's antics. The character of Julian Carswell was partially based on English occultist Aleister Crowley. There was also an unexpected homage to Carswell in 1989's The Burbs. While searching the Klopek's house, Ray and Art find a book on demonology, written by none other than Julian Carswell. Curse of the Demon was regarded as one of the best horror films of the 50s, and the goofy demon reveal, although not my cup of tea, is part of the iconic nature of it. It does offer a lot of suspense, excellent acting, an outside-the-box premise for the time, and a rather likable villain. It does do something that feels unique among movies from that era. There's a level of tension when the parchment hits a fire, and in the final scene that never fails to make me creep towards the edge of my seat. Hammer Horror released this about the same time as it did its own versions of Dracula and Frankenstein, and it feels like a worthy precursor to what would come during their heyday. Most everything works in harmony, and it's an incredibly interesting movie. My only real negative for this one is the demon reveal in the first 5 minutes. It kills the suspense that was so well built at that point. But as much as I dislike it, the demon's look still adds an iconic slant to the movie that I'm not sure it would have had without it. So every time I watch this, I will cringe at the very open and the very close, but I love everything else. It can be a bit difficult to find, but as of the recording of this, you can find it on the National Archives website, and it seems to come and go from various streaming platforms pretty regularly. So definitely keep an eye out for it. So what do you think? Suggestions for movies, trivial questions, comments, ratings, and more demons riding unicycles in and out of clouds would be appreciated. Thank you so very much for watching.